That'll do, pig, that'll do. I don't know who the pig is in this analogy. It's probably me.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
No, I'm Babe. I'm then the tiny, cute little pig that gets all the friends, family, and the respect of his farmer, and then gets turned into bacon. Actually, I didn't think that analogy through, did I? Anyway, let's start this week's Immaterial Gamers podcast off with this.
Why not? Hey, I was wondering where that was going to come from. I feel like I thought you maybe just forgot about it, but I realized you were saving it.
Yeah, it's like a party popper, except
with 0 calories.
Yeah, 0 calories, 0 sugar, and not only to be sold as part of a multi-pack. So, yeah, that was the last of the 3 crates of 24 cans that we brought in for the Christmas New Year period. A lot of them went during New Year. But
Maxed out for Pepsi Max.
Yeah, boy.
Right, were a lot of them drinking straight, or were a lot of them used in some other drinks?
Oh, well, considering now my bottle of Absolute Vodka is now near the bottom, I'd say it was used in that.
Fair enough.
But, yeah, it's your boy Ryan on the Immaterial Gamers Podcast, and it's also your boy Duncan.
Heyo, I'm back.
And here we are. This is the first actual podcast of the new year, episode number 23. Jim Carrey's favourite number. No, actually, it was number 13 or 25. I don't care.
What about Jim Carrey now?
The number 23, was that the film that he was in where he went a bit mental because he was seeing the number 23 everywhere?
I don't know what you're talking about. That does not ring a bell.
Cool. And yeah, no, it's fine.
Doesn't mean like you're hearing the number 23 everywhere.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, like it is podcast 23. It's just another 2-man podcast.
That's how old I am.
Hey, what now?
That's how old I am. 23.
Well, in that case, happy shared birthday, podcast and Duncan.
Neat.
So that works out. Right. Well, let's get into it. Really, then. Let's go and see what the new year's given us. Mainly due to starting of a game that we've been playing, and I would like to go first on this one.
Very well. You're the host. You set the rules. Oh, we should probably point out there's only 2 of us on the podcast today, so we're probably gonna see if we can stretch things out a little bit. Otherwise, the podcast will only be like 25 minutes long.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. That works because I'm sure I've just heard some movement in my in the kitchen. It's fine. It's nothing to worry about. It's probably only the washing machine taking off.
They're after the Pepsi Max.
Yeah, they're gonna have trouble because I've got the last one.
My God.
So the Humble Monthly games came out this month, and we had a lot of big games like Project Cars and Just Cause. What I played was a little puzzle game by the name of Q.U.B.E. That's Cube spelt Q.U.B.E. and little dots in between. It's supposed to be I'm guessing it's supposed to be some sort of acronym, but it follows on from the puzzle game Q.U.B.E., again spelt the same. It's a first-person puzzler where you're in a facility made out of cubes, and you use cubes of different colours in order to progress through these cube-shaped levels to try and figure out what the major mystery is of the big cube. I've realised I've said cube about 12 times in that sentence.
And the real question is, how many different ways has that word been spelt in your sentences?
That's 12 times, probably at least 6 of each variation that I said so far. So, yeah. But I'll try and explain it a little bit better. This one actually has a story. The first cube was that you were a person doing some sort of weird aptitude test. I know it sounds awfully like Portal at that point, but bear with me. In the second game, you've actually been given a name, and even though you're in first person, you've been given a face.
The name is Shell.
No.
Gordon Freeman?
No. It's not any Valve name. Her name is Amelia Cross. She's some British archaeologist who suddenly ends up inside said cube. Apparently, something happened in the first game. I never got fully to the end of it. That it turned out the cube itself was actually some interplanetary vessel that just was heading towards Earth on a collision course, and people were trained to stop it. From the fact that you're playing Cube 2, spoiler alert, you didn't. It ended up on Earth, and you, as Amelia, are working with another voice somewhere, trying to figure out why the cube's here. Is it active? Do they need to destroy it? And particularly to get a beacon to find out where they are. It turns out, like I say, they're on Earth. It was Earth all along. But yeah, the way that it works is through the game you are given initially one coloured cube, and then you get 3 by the end of it, and then there are other mechanics. I've experienced the gel mechanic. Oil mechanic. It's different to the gels, but yeah, you've got to get through each puzzle room. So the first like power you get is the ability to place a blue cube on a panel, and that acts as a launch pad. So if you go on it, you just bounce up into the air in the direction of the pad. If you have objects, they will bounce on them and just fly off. You get an orange cube, which you can basically place to pull out and make little platforms or blockers. And you get a green cube, which is just a solid lump of lime jello.
Weird. So
I love lime jello.
Sounds very Q.U.B.E.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like you'll get like various. It's a lot of it are mixtures on the same sort of ideas that you use the blue ones to try and jump around and hit places you can't quite access. While you can jump, you can only jump a certain height. Generally 1 cube in height. It sounds very Minecraft at that point. But there's puzzles where you have to sort of combine them. Like there are doors that require a heavy enough item to hit it, so you have to try and find a way of launching green cubes using blue jump pads to hit doors. Sort of making little platforms for yourself to access new areas. And basically do a lot of stuff. I mean an interesting point now where the story's gone along that it turned out the cube had arrived at Earth. It sounds like it killed everyone on Earth, but it was not the makers of the cube's design for that to happen, so they want you to try and rectify their mistake. So you're sat there sort of covering the cubes in oil, and a lot of the areas of the level are flammable, and you use that to try and burn new places to get to a move. And I kind of like it. The story's a little... it's just a story, really. It's just something to give you an impression of moving from one place to the other. But yeah, it's enjoyable, and it's something different from the constant killing of humanity that I've been playing over the past few weeks.
So wait, the space aliens sent a cube to Earth, and it's like just tries to destroy everything, but that wasn't like what it was supposed to do?
No, well, not from what it looks like. It was just a cube in space that was just designed to work on its own. So it's just like, it's just a vessel. It just moves from one place to the other.
Can you imagine if, like, future humanity, like, if we invented some kind of technology that was just like, it's just a big square in space. Just leave it do its own thing. And then we lose its signal, and then we find it years later, and it's like, it seems to have accidentally wiped out this sentient species we didn't know existed until just now. Whoops.
Yeah. Whoops. My bad. But it was enjoyable. If anyone got the Humble monthly thing, it's worth picking up. It's probably a few pound on Steam. It's interesting enough to play. It's like I say, if it scratches the Portal itch.
It does sound very Portal-y, by the way. The description.
Yeah, and it's nothing's bad about it. It's nice to actually, from what it looks like. I mean, there are memories that say that you like pick up recollections of stuff that's happened that suggest something darker is afoot, but it's not like it's this outward evil entity like GLaDOS was in Portal. Oh, spoilers! Yes, she was evil.
spoilers for a almost 12-year-old game.
Yeah.
That's like 3 hours long.
Yeah. If you haven't played Portal, you never really were you?
Never trust the voice that's super passive-aggressive and constantly alludes to your death.
Yeah. That sounds like a recording, yet seems to currently know what was going on at every step. Anyway, yeah, that was Q.U.B.E, and that was my game that I played this week. And I was technically going to turn around and say that I played Black Mirror Bandersnatch, but I'm not an evil bastard. You know, oh, what did you play this week, Ryan? Oh yeah, I played a film.
Played a film?
Yeah. Or I watched a game.
Played a film, so what you're saying is that you played a Square Enix game.
Ew.
Yeah. My sister recently picked up the Kingdom Hearts Super Mega Ultra Final Remix 2.0 Birth by Dead Light Moon Sleep or whatever it's called for the PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah.
That has all the Kingdom Hearts games on it, or maybe most of them, or I don't know.
Oh, the one that they call The Story So Far and still haven't brought out number 3, even though Donald Duck's wielding a 9mm pistol. Don't even get me started.
But what was I going to say? But yeah, no, she's just getting at that. She's discovering how hard Kingdom Hearts 1 actually is. She's lost her mind already at the Trickmaster in Wonderland.
Oh.
Real shame you can't drink the grow potion right before that fight. You know, that'd be a lot easier if the Trickmaster only came up to your shin. It's like, oh look, a piece of paper. Stomp.
Womp.
I especially wouldn't want to get stepped on by Sora's shoes. Oh my god, the shoes are the size of my torso, and I'm an adult. He's 14.
Yeah. Oh, Sora, the Final Fantasy 15 reject. Sorry, 10.
Would definitely be 10.
Yeah.
It did come out just after 10, I believe.
Yeah. Also, that's why you got, like, you know, Sora on an island with Riku and all that. It's like, no, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. How are you on the Final Fantasy 10 reject cruise? And then Mickey and Donald. And, no, my head's going to explode if I keep talking.
You're just talking about the premise. Once you start getting the story, that's when things really start to hurt. I watched a video last night of someone trying to explain all the essential key elements of the Kingdom Hearts story thus far. And I admit, it may have had a little bit to do with the fact that I was kind of drunk. But man, it was like a 39-minute video, and about 8 minutes into the video, I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Could you repeat that part? I forgot. Where are we? Who is this guy? It's a muddled nightmare.
Oh. Well,
it puts Kingdom Hearts is the Square Enix game that makes other Square Enix games seem coherent and normal.
Yeah, when you actually think about it now, you know, Final Fantasy VII was just, you know, it was child's play.
Yeah.
Absolute child's play.
It's like, at least in Final Fantasy VII, there was only one character whose mind and memories were swapped with one other character, you know?
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts, that's like the main recurring plot. It's just like, everyone is not the person that you think they are. And they're also not the person they think they are. Everyone's a reincarnation or possessed by someone else. And it's all just circular. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to talk about Kingdom Hearts. Thank God. Because we'd be here for a while if I was.
Yeah, no, that's fine. What game do you wish to talk about today, then?
The game I actually did play this week, a lot of, in fact, was an older indie PC game.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, I'm just puking off screen. It's called FTL, Faster Than Light.
Oh, yes.
You familiar?
Oh, yeah. Good old roguelike top-down spaceship worker placement simulator. I feel it's like a board game at that point. But, very, very one more go gameplay.
Oh, yeah. I've been playing the hell out of that this week. I don't even know what spurred it on. I think what it was is like it was one of the only games that I had. I was at over the holidays. I was at my stepfather's, and I didn't have access to my regular computer. I just had my laptop, and I only had like 2 games on my laptop that would like run properly and were already installed, and FTL was one of them. So I just played that while I was over at his place, and then that carried over into me coming home and just playing it for almost a whole week straight. So yeah, FTL, it's a roguelike game, procedurally generated. It's all random. You're the captain of a spaceship that's on a mission to deliver secret plans to your Federation allies as the rebel fleet slowly encroaches on your behind. You go through something like 8 sectors, which can all be divided into various FTL points that you teleport between. Depending on how you navigate, you usually get like probably about 10 or so teleportations per map. And throughout this, you encounter various other ships who might try to blow you up. Maybe they'll give you a quest to take them to another location. Sometimes there'll be stores. Sometimes there'll be distress beacons. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. God, wow. Yeah, if you wanted to commune with RN Jesus, FTL is your game.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a very luck-oriented game.
Mm.
Over time, you can upgrade your weapons and your systems, make your ship, better equip your ship for deep space flight against the slowly increasingly dangerous enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And the hope is that by the time you get to Sector 8, you are able to fight the Rebel flagship, which is a monstrosity of a ship that will ruin your day if you are not properly prepared.
No, the Illidan Storm Rage of Rebel flagships. You are not prepared.
Yeah. It's
laser beam straight to your O2 stores, and oh look.
No, even better is when they throw out a hacking system directly onto your weapons system as soon as the fight starts. It's like, oh, my weapons are disabled. I guess I'll just restart my whole run then.
Yeah.
My hour and a half run that I was doing so well on. I can't use my weapons now.
Yeah, all these crewmates I acquired, friends I made, enemies I killed, loves I lost, and you just stopped me from doing anything. So, well, it was nice to know you.
That's why it's really important to have a defense drone by the time you get to the end, or something to that effect. Just shoot down those incoming drones, hacking drones.
But
even that's one of those games that's like, even on easy mode, it's not an easy game at all.
No, not at all.
I have yet to complete a hard mode game. I've beaten easy mode a few times. I've beaten normal, 3 or 4 times, but I've never beaten hard mode. That game is relentless on hard mode.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to say this, and I will lose some gamer points here, but I haven't completed easy mode. I say that off center, just because I have to admit it. It's a brutal game.
Honestly, I think the easiest ship to beat it with on easy mode is probably the NG ship. Because that weapon you start with is an Ion 2 weapon. Basically, just like disables it like disables the system rather than actually damages it. And Ion 2 in particular just like fires rapidly, like every 4 seconds. And it fires faster than their shields can regenerate. So if you just keep their shields down forever, you also have an attack drone that you can activate. And once their shields are down, it just goes to town. It's a viable strategy for the first 2 or 3 sectors on easy mode. And by that point, you can usually find some kind of laser weapon to replace your ion weapon. One of the important things about the late game of that game is you need to either have some kind of missile weapon that breaks through shields, or you need a lot of like burst laser weapons that break down shields quickly.
Mm.
Without at least one of those solutions, you're not likely to make it to the end.
Yep, that sounds like something I should learn when I play FTL again. At that point, I mean, those developers, they know how to do their brutal roguelike games. Have you tried Into the Breach?
I have not tried Into the Breach. I've seen some gameplay of it, and I was mostly confused. I wasn't really sure what was going on, but I really should check it out. I like FTL so much that I really should investigate their other projects.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, yeah. With Into the Breach, it takes it into. I mean, like say, you'll have seen it, but for sort of anyone else, yeah, instead of it being this sort of real time management simulator for FTL, it's a turn-based tactics game for Into the Breach, but it's still just as brutal as their other game. And I mean, to be honest, the reason I picked it up was because when Into the Breach first came out on like GOG or something like that, you could, or the Humble Store, you could buy it and you'd get a copy of FTL Enhanced Edition for free. So it was definitely worth it at the time. But oh man, sometimes if I want to be, this is gonna sound weird, if I want to be punished, FTL and Into the Breach are good games.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. Two things important to learn about that game. One, burst laser weapons are just the best, no argument. And also, make sure to make gratuitous use of the pause button.
Yeah.
Very important to time your weapons and to be paying attention to what's happening on the field at any given moment, you know?
Yeah, definitely, it's your friend, the pause button.
Yeah, it's especially important if you have like a beam weapon alongside your burst laser weapons, because the beam weapons don't break through shields generally, or they're very poor at breaking through shields. So you have to kind of time it with when their shields are down. So very important to have the pause button handy for that. Otherwise, you blink and you'll miss your opening.
Yeah.
But another thing that's cool about FTL was the mods for it. I've been playing around with the mods a little bit. There was previously a very active FTL modding community that seems to have died down a lot in recent years. But their mods are still available, and they have like graphical upgrades and mods. They have like gameplay mods, like one called Infinite Space, where you can basically just play FTL like forever until you die, instead of going to a specific objective.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and they make it so that like after the first map, at the end of every exit beacon, you have to fight like a mini boss to test your might, Mortal Kombat style.
Yeah.
And
test your might.
This actually makes it much harder to progress in the Infinite Space than it is in regular FTL, because the mini bosses are almost as strong as the flagship. They generally have either 3 or 4 shield points, which is like 4 is like the most shields you can have, and deadly weapons. But they also have like ship mods where you can play as custom ships. Some are entirely made up. Some are based off of popular science fiction ships, such as the R-Wing from the Star Fox franchise, various Star Wars and Star Trek mock-ups, including the Millennium Falcon.
Yep. And
one that I found that was quite amusing, as you can play as the Death Star.
How do you do a top-down of the Death Star? It's obviously just gonna. I can assume it's just going to be a circle with a little
it's
out bit.
Roughly circular.
Yeah.
It's great too, because like it has like the FTL like visuals for the rooms and stuff. But like every in between teleports, the rooms disappear and you get a glimpse of like the actual ship itself, and it literally is just like a picture of like a pixelated picture of the Death Star.
Nice.
And you know what? Believe it or not, the Death Star's not actually that overpowered. Maybe in regular FTL it is, but in Infinite Space, nothing is overpowered.
No, because it's always going to be a bigger fish.
Yep. No, you still have struggles even in that. But yeah, I've been having a ton of fun with FTL this week, and I will probably continue to have fun with FTL.
Oh, good. No worries. Right. Well, that's what we've been playing. So let's see what news has been going on. I mean, it's a brand new month. 2019. It's a good way to
Brand new month,
go.
brand new year. It's all
Yeah.
new.
Yeah. New year, new month. Let's go to all the happy news. Wait.
Which happy news are we gonna pick? The one where your video games are gonna become more expensive, the one where Blizzard is losing critical staff members, or the one where the streamer violently assaulted his wife?
Yeah. Well, let's start with. We'll start with this one, the one that Stefan had placed into the news for us, the one from the Daily Star. I will take this with the biggest pinch of salt. So, this was published on the 6th of January, apparently. Today, even though I'm sure Steph shared it yesterday. Yeah, the Daily Star, for anyone outside of the UK who doesn't know.
Me?
It's what I'd call a shit rag. It's a tabloid newspaper. Generally, a lot of big words or like capital letters in your headlines to make things sound like they're scarier than they actually are, and stuff like that. And generally, they ended up being known as selling, and I don't like to use this, fake news. A lot of, like we've did this. We've spoke to an anonymous source, and they always speak to an anonymous source. But yeah,
either because the source doesn't exist or because the source doesn't want to be associated with their terrible news board. Either way.
Yeah, but yeah, in the Star's case, it's because they generally don't exist. But the one that Steph's put up underneath the breaking news of Wayne Rooney arrested for being drunk in public and swearing in the US. Yeah, apparently this is the headline that we got. Games warning: your PS4, Xbox, and Switch games could get a lot more expensive in 2019. So this story is apparently. So even though they're saying that the games industry is worth £3.6 billion or $4.85 billion, and that 88% of sales are coming from digital platforms, that's not enough money. It's just ridiculous. That we know. Digital games are more expensive than they should be anyway, considering the fact that the whole point of a digital market is that you're able to save money on disc printing and case making, having to do box art and all that shit. It's supposed to be a cheaper thing, but physical copies in the UK at least are. I mean, this is actually a fact. Daily Star have actually got something right for a change. Physical copies of stuff are generally £5 to £10 cheaper than their digital variants, and
that is very odd.
Yeah, it is an odd thing, and it's even if we take into like game shops or like Game, our biggest retailer of physical games. Even when they sell something that's usually £5 more expensive than the retail price, it's still cheaper than the digital versions. And yeah, the problem is the industry is actually wanting to focus more on digital downloads. I mean, recently, there's the big rumours that the new generation of consoles are going to go digital only, or even streaming.
Ugh,
and
I don't like the idea of streaming games.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, that has to come from an opinion based on that, because I've actually just scrolled down this whole article. They've not mentioned anything about why they're going to get more expensive.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was looking through this article and I was like, searching for like justification for this supposed increase in price. It's just like no one really said anything. It's just like, no. Why? So why is the price going up? It's like, don't know.
No, that is a good question, and we can't just keep saying server space is going to be the thing, but yeah, it's just a thing. If you want to play more of the games you love, expect to do less because they're going to cost more. So so we got that bit of depressing news out of the way. So
well, if we can call it news, we'll call it news with enormous quotation marks around it.
Yeah. Well, the Daily Star. What do we say?
This is more of a opinionated speculation than news.
Yep, that's tabloids for you.
News reports a fact that happened, like a thing or event that's happened or happening. That's news. This is like, this is not. I would not qualify this as news.
No. So let's move to news then, and we'll go to PC Gamer for the next one. There's no witty segue I can do with this because I don't want to. It's a shit story or a shit situation in the face of things, and yeah, the fact that this has happened is ridiculous. So I think we mentioned it on the podcast like in November. December somewhere, about the Twitch streamer who assaulted his partner during a live stream of him playing Fortnite. A guy by the name of Mr. Deadmoth, or
yeah, that's
as his actual name is his name Luke Mundy, from Australia somewhere. I saw the video of this. I didn't like one bit of it. He's playing Fortnite. His wife off camera is like, "Come on, can you get off this?" It's like, "No, fuck off, I'm playing." Okay, to be fair, a cardboard box hits him in the face. An empty cardboard box. He then proceeds to go off camera. You hear the sound of thudding and the protestations from the wife off camera. "You are a woman basher. And this is quoted, "Don't hit me in the face. Don't touch me in the face." You hear that. All the people there, he just hit me in the face. And he's a father of two. And you heard kids screaming in the background as well. It was quite uncomfortable.
2.5 apparently.
Yeah, himself. His Twitch account then got banned. He got arrested.
Rightfully so.
And he's charged with common assault.
Rightfully so.
So, there. What isn't rightfully so is the fact that a few days ago he was on Twitch.
Oh boy.
Streaming. So that was a bit weird. His account was unbanned. He was able to carry on streaming more, potentially Fortnite. And yeah, there was a backlash. I'm all for innocent until proven guilty, but at that point you keep the account banned pending the investigation. If it turns out that this was because a lot of what people are saying is, well, two things. One, she instigated it. It was a fucking cardboard box. I'm sorry.
I mean, you don't escalate from a cardboard box to a punch in the face, first of all. And second of all, there is some things going on in that relationship that, first of all, I mean, presumably this is like his, I don't know how big of a streamer he is, but I mean,
yeah.
I mean, how, was this guy like popular? Like, was this like his job, or was this a hobby?
I don't know. I mean, he's got himself a nice little overlay and stuff. He's probably trying to get into the things. I don't know. I mean, it was obviously popular enough for people to share it all over Twitter, and to get banned quickly on that case. But I'd say he'd be relatively mid-low level, probably. He's certainly not ninja style of Fortnite player. But so popular but not popular enough. But yeah, so like you say, you're right. That is a load of escalation in a relationship that shouldn't be sort of happening. And no, I'm not going to go on this, sort of left wing, right wing thing. Personal opinion, no. I'm sorry. There are other ways to solve getting hit in the face with an empty cardboard box other than your fists.
It's like, if you're 2.5 kids into a relationship with somebody, and you're only 26, by the way, like that's quite a bit of kids to have for this day and age, at that age. It's like, if you're 2.5 kids into a relationship with someone, and like the fact that you play video games in front of a live audience is like a problem for one of the two of you, it's like, it's like, what? How did this happen?
Yeah. I mean, there's the other thing as well. If you're going to be doing something like streaming, I guess in terms of us as well, sort of this podcasty content creation stuff, there's going to be a time that as you go through that, you are going to be looked up to as a role model. And if that is what you want people to remember you by,
well, God
help me.
I mean, you got to figure he's not that old to begin with, but he's also playing Fortnite, which is very popular amongst younger gamers.
So people are going to see this,
yeah.
and that's going to be the thing. I mean, granted, at this point, he was streaming. He got caught out. One of the moderators at Twitch, a guy called, what's his name? It's in the article, Marcus Graham, or DJ Wheat as he goes by. He's one of the big, sort of community managers for Twitch. When he's even like wondering, how did this get by me? Yeah, it's a problem. But it's happened again. It's been deactivated again by Twitch. They've spoke to Kotaku about it and said the following statement: protecting the integrity of our community is incredibly important to us. We want everyone on Twitch to have a safe and positive experience and work constantly towards that goal. Part of that work includes examining our policies and practices when we find that they don't properly address specific incidents to ensure we're adapting as the Twitch community grows. That basically sounds like PR speak for, we fucked up, let's just undo that. But yeah, that's just how that goes. We'll see how the case goes. Like I say, if it turns out it was just nothing happened, so be it. He can come back. On
a side note, this screenshot of him that's in the article, he actually really looks like a guy I used to go to high school with. I know he's Australian, so it's like that's obviously not the case, but he really does remind me of somebody.
Yeah. But that'll be a developing news story. Might keep an eye out on that. But yeah, don't act like a twat on the internet. Everyone knows the Will Wheaton rules of the internet. Just 4 simple words. Don't be a dick.
Yep. When you're in the public eye, you have a responsibility to, conduct yourselves in a way that that is appropriate. Consider who's watching you. Yeah,
definitely. Right.
Let's move on to another article. Yeah.
Yeah. One last bit of news, and then we will wrap this up. I know it's like we're only on like 40 minutes, but we're just getting back into the swing of things.
Between there only being 2 of us and me having to go, we should definitely keep this short. So. Yeah.
Definitely. Right, so, last one. Before Christmas, we joked about people losing jobs. We joked about the idea of what would happen if a company decided to let go half their employees before New Year. And unfortunately, we never, in that 2 weeks where we didn't do these podcasts, Blizzard and Activision decided to be Blizzard and Activision again and start getting rid of people. One of the side news stories not on this article that we got is that Blizzard have been requesting for employees to leave their jobs for a little bit of compensation payouts, not redundancy or losses of jobs like that. It's just like, we'll pay you a little bit if you leave. Could you leave? And given that what we had with the news in December about Heroes of the Storm, yeah, it sounds like it's not going very well. Maybe all those announcements for Diablo Immortal probably, come back to bite you, and those loot boxes and all that. But
sounds like there's some dissent going on over at Blizzard Activision behind the scenes lately.
Yeah. I mean,
last year or so.
Yeah. So I mean, last week, Activision Blizzard CFO Spencer Newman left the company. Read fired, but no worries. He's managed to pick up he's landed on his feet because he's now at Netflix.
Hey, man. I mean, CFO of a company like Blizzard Activision, one of the biggest gaming companies in the industry, land that. I mean, hire that man. Yeah. But I don't care if he left or was fired, man. If I'm Netflix, I'm being like, hey, we got a good one.
Yeah. No, it's a good one. This is a GameSpot article, by the way, just to keep crediting our sources. But yeah, now Blizzard CFO Amrita Ahuja has also, she's now left the company.
Mobile payment company Square.
Yeah, that's not to be confused with Square Enix. Jack Dorsey, that sounds familiar. That name sounds familiar.
Jerry Dorsey?
But yeah, I will look at that while I just talk a bit. But yeah, so to find that that Activision Blizzard's two big CFO people. Oh, I know who he is now. He's the co-founder of Twitter.
Jack Dorsey?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got his own problems, but for the point of this news, yeah. So the fact that people are just jumping ship off Blizzard. They are hemorrhaging big names.
Yeah, well, they're hemorrhaging upper staff members. They lost 2 CFOs, one for the whole parent company, one just for Blizzard. And I guess reading at the bottom of this article, and back in October, they lost their co-founder and longtime president. Oh my god.
Yeah, Mike Morhaime. The guy basically who brought sort of the Warcraft, StarCraft games into production, and put Blizzard properly on the map with World of Warcraft and Diablo 2.
You know who else retired sometime last year? I think it was last year, or maybe the year before. Chris Metzen retired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically the names that you associated with Blizzard.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Metzen was really big in the StarCraft franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I know he. I mean, he was obviously. I don't know. I learned less about the Warcraft, but I know he was like the man for StarCraft in particular.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And yeah, so it's just it's not great. It's not been a good Q4 for Blizzard at all, and it's quite concerning. I mean, the only thing it's almost like they are putting all their eggs in one basket in regards to Overwatch, and it's esporty sort of thing.
I mean,
I guess they got Call of Duty as well, but
I mean, it is. Yeah, I mean, between Call of Duty and Overwatch, they've got two of the best. They have probably one of the best-selling individual PC games of all time, and one of the best-selling PC, franchise not PC. I mean, one of the best-selling video game franchises of all time. It's like they got. Yeah, it's like I don't know.
Yeah, it's it's not a good start to the year, but hopefully it doesn't get any worse for them, because I actually like their games. I might not like the practices as much, but the games are there. And I mean, as long as they can get into a way where, the entertainment comes first, that's the whole point of the games industry. Especially a BBC article I saw over the weekend, and it was just simply, games are now the biggest entertainment media in the UK at least, surpassing by a third the music and film industry combined.
Wow. Yeah, no, I believe it.
Yeah, so it's it's the big entertainment. They just need to get there. Problem is, practices like this are gonna, well, I'd say practices like this are supposed to have crippled the industry, and it seems to have worked the wrong way round. But we'll see how it goes. Again, we'll monitor the sort of the Blizzard thing, and
hopefully they don't lose any more upper staff members.
Yeah. One could say it was an avalanche of employees leaving. Was that
a Blizzard pun?
It was a Blizzard pun. Thank you.
You're a bad person.
I am.
Maybe
I'm evil.
Maybe we'll get rid of you.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get punished by being able to play nothing but FTL for the next week.
Chief Creative Officer.
Chief Creative Officer of
Ryan
Immaterial Gamers.
Of Immaterial Gamers. Has left, quote unquote.
Yeah, to join the production line. Right. Anyway, we will wrap this up. Thank you very much, Duncan, for joining me on this endeavour of the year.
I didn't expect to, but I am here anyway.
Yeah, surprise guest.
Story of my life. Story of my life. It's like I really didn't expect to be here, but I guess I am. So let's make the best of it.
Aye, perfect. But and thank you everyone for listening. Please do, if you're listening to this on YouTube, please do the like, share, subscribe thing with the bell, and share it to your friends. Any feedback would be greatly appreciative as well. The comment section will be open, not necessarily read, but they will be open. If you listening to this on iTunes or an RSS feed, share it to your friends that way. That'd be all great. And until next week, please don't fire each other. Just just get along with each other, work hard, and make the world a better place.
I get toning it down from don't kill each other. We're lowering our expectations. It's like, just don't fire each other.
Yeah.
It's like, just keep your jobs. That's all we want.
Yeah. That's that. And yeah, failing that, please don't kill each other. But all right, everyone, have a good week, and we shall see you next time.
Bye-bye.